Hello, NBA fans, and welcome back to another episode here on the NBA Do It That Was. Today, we're joined yet again by our favorite guest here on the channel, Suyash, to make some seedings predictions. With the second half of the season getting underway, we thought we'll get together and predict our final standings for the Eastern and Western Conference, including which teams make the play-in tournament. For those who don't know what the play-in tournament is, this year the NBA restarted this from the bubble. It's the concept they introduced when the bubble occurred. So the 7th and the 10th seed play, and the 8th and the 9th seed in both conferences play each other. And if the 7th seed wins one game, they advance to the playoffs. But if the 10th seed beats the 7th seed twice away, because they're not going to be playing in their home stadium, they get to advance to the playoffs as the 7th seed, and same goes for the 8th and the 9th seed. So the 8th seed, if they win one game, they'll advance to the playoffs, and if the 9th seed wins two games away from home, they'll advance to the playoffs. So we'll be making our play-in tournament predictions as well as our final seedings predictions, and then later on we'll definitely be making a playoff predictions episode. So Suyash, do you want to start us off with the Eastern or Western Conference?
Sure. I think we can start with the let's start with the Eastern Conference.
Got it. Okay. So play-in tournament, 7 versus 10. Yeah.
So in the play-in tournament from the East,
Yes.
I have the Indiana Pacers playing.
At what?
Sorry.
What seed would they be?
I have them at the 7th seed.
Okay.
And then I have them playing against the Atlanta Hawks at the 8th seed.
Oh, it's the 7th seed plays the 10th seed, actually.
Oh, 7th seed plays the 10th seed?
Yeah,
Okay, I saw it on the graphic then.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they'd be playing the Charlotte Hornets.
Okay, and then
the Wizards would be playing the Hawks.
the Wizards. Whoa, I did not expect that today. All right, you want to explain your rationale behind some of those seedings?
I think right now you can see the Hornets are doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because LaMelo is really coming into his own, and I think he's great. But I think they will drop from where they are right now. If we look at the they're now in the 6th seed in the East. I think they'll drop to around the 9th seed, or 10th seed. Sorry. And so they'll play against the Pacers, and I think the Pacers are going to do well. From now on, now they have LeVert back, and of course the core of Brogdon, Sabonis, and all are still going to play well. So that's my rationale with that matchup. And my second matchup is, recently Russell Westbrook has been playing incredibly. With as little bias as I can as a big Russell Westbrook fan. And I think they'll be playing the Hawks. I think Trae Young will step up. He's been little since his Steve Nash comments. He's dropped slightly, but I think he'll be back. And I think they'll be the higher seed in that matchup. So they'll be the 8th seed, while the Wizards will be the 9th seed. So what's your play tournament?
So for me, in the 7th seed, I have the New York Knicks. Currently, they're in the 6th seed, or the 6th or 5th seed. And
the 7th seed.
7th seed. Oh, so they're tied with Charlotte.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So New York, I think they'll maintain that 7th seed spot because, again, while they've been outstanding this year, I don't think Barrett's been really well, but playing really well. I don't think he maintains that for the whole year, given how inconsistent he's been so far in his career. I project him to be a Jaylen Brown type development, eventually in his 4th or 5th year, he'll really break out and potentially become an all-star like Brown did this year. But I don't see this Knicks team, which is so reliant on Randall's offense as well as just defense, again, playing in Tom Thibodeau's really rigorous or very demanding system, that they are able to secure a playoff spot without participating in the play-in tournament. And then in the 10th seed, I have the Charlotte Hornets. I think they're gonna have a drop off, considering, again, they're reliant on a rookie for their primary offense. But they do obviously have Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, who've been good. But again, they're not the most defensively consistent team. And as the season progresses, it's typically defense, I feel, that really shows out. Teams that are able to exude more energy on the defensive end. And given how cramped every team's second half schedule is, it'll really like depth is also important, and I think the Hornets are quite lacking in that area. That's why I think I have them falling quite a ways down the seedings to the 10th spot. Then in the 8th spot, I have the Toronto Raptors. Again, I'm a big believer in the fact that Kyle Lowry is going to get traded. I really think so. He sold his house. He's been telling people he's getting traded, and with the trade deadline approaching, he probably wants to go. If he ends up in Philadelphia, that's a whole different story. That would make that team really good, but they would have to give up like Shake Milton and probably like Matisse Thybulle to get him. But still, the Raptors with Siakam, Van Vliet, and Anunoby, it's a great young core. I would say relatively young, not the youngest teams, but a very good team, well-coached team. But given their struggles these days, like they got blown out by the Hornets last night, lost to a Tony Snell game winner against my Hawks, and things aren't just going their way right now. And with, again, a really tight second half of the year, it'll be tough for them to really secure a playoff spot without participating in the play-in tournament. And then in the 9th seed, I have the Indiana Pacers. I don't know. I just don't see them playing as well as they did last year. I feel they have a very predictable offense, given its majority of it's reliant on Sabonis and being in the paint and just, bullying his way to the post. He's a really good playmaker for his size. Obviously gets other people involved, but he's their focal point. And I don't know. I think Indiana, again, like even though they changed coaches, something about Indiana, and with Karis LeVert, obviously, I'm so thankful he's back. But again, he's going to need to take time to make an impact. So I don't see them doing more than getting to the 9th seed. Potentially, I can switch them and Toronto to consider it. But as of now, I do not see that happening. So yeah, that's who I have in the play-in tournament. And I'll continue with who I think is going to win in those matchups. So I have the higher seeds winning in both matchups. With New York and Charlotte, I think Charlotte might pull out the first game against New York. But again, defense becomes really important in tight games. And I think the Knicks have a good personnel to stop LaMelo Ball, given their like long, lengthy point guards like Payton and Ntilikina. They can just slot in to stop LaMelo. So I can see them winning one game with their high-powered offense, the Hornets, but it won't last long. And then the same goes for Toronto. It's just such an experienced team in tight games, as we've seen in the last few years. And Van Vliet can just go off one night. Norman Powell's another guy who's been balling. So I have Toronto beating Indiana in that, and both Charlotte and Indiana missing out on the playoffs.
Yeah, so I have Indiana. I'm a strong believer in this Indiana team, actually. And I think Indiana will just win the first game against Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately for Raghav's Hawks, I actually have them losing to the Wizards. And this is where I think experience comes in. I think the Wizards are gonna make the playoffs. I don't know if they're gonna go far in the playoffs. I think they're gonna. I think I think they can beat the current Hawks team at the current state that they are in.
Dude, the Wizards can't play defense though.
Yeah, but Trae Young cannot play defense either.
Well, but that's one guy, and by that time we'll have DeAndre Hunter back. So, but you can, yeah, it's your prediction.
I'm saying I believe in that situation, the current Wizards team can beat the current Hawks team.
Okay.
And make it.
Very interesting. I have the Wizards finishing around like 12th or 13th, because they're like 5 games out of the 10th spot right now, and I don't see them making a run that big to make a play.
We'll see.
So, okay, now that we have, so that makes for you, who's the 7th seed for you?
So I have the Pacers at the 7th seed and the Wizards at the 8th seed.
So I have New York at the 7th seed and Toronto at the 8th seed. So let's start with the 6th seed.
We keep going with the East?
Yeah, let's finish off the East and then
right. So at the 6th seed, I actually have the Knicks dropping out of the playoffs. I have the Knicks. I'm sorry to all the Knicks fans out. I actually want to see them do well, because the Knicks fans, they haven't had anything. But I actually, because I feel they're too reliant on Julius Randle, and I don't know if he's gonna keep playing like he is playing right now.
That
So
is
I
very.
actually have them dropping out of even the play-in tournament.
Mhm.
And at 6th seed, I have a team that I have jumping up. I have the Toronto Raptors jumping up.
Got it.
And it's again just that experience of the Siakam, Fred VanVleet, even Powell.
Mhm.
So
I can definitely I can see Toronto really making a run, but I don't know these last few games, like the game I watched against the Hawks. I watch all the Hawks games, and they really just didn't try on defense. It was really appalling to see with the Nick Nurse coach team for a team to just like essentially give up on the offensive end or the defensive end. Given they did have Van Vliet and Siakam out that game, so that might have been a difference. But I don't know. It just felt like against the Hornets too, they just like faltered and let LaMelo do his thing. But for me in the 6th seed, I have the Hawks. This might be biased, but with the way we've been playing under Nate McMillan, we've won 4 in a row. We've won every fourth quarter after losing. If every time we gave up a lead in the fourth quarter, besides one game, so that was 12 games, we had a lead in the fourth quarter. We gave it up. We lost 11 of those games. Under McMillan, we've been trailing in the fourth quarter 3 times and come back all 3. Had a game winner. Had a great game against the Kings last night. Looked really confident. And Gallinari's getting it back. Bogdanovich is going to get it back. Rondo's looking good. Hunter's going to come back. Radish is going to come back, which will bolster our defense. And I can, because we're only, okay, let me quickly take a look at the standings. But as of now, we're only 2 games out of the 6th seed. I feel it's a very tight run race at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. That's why we have so much like variability. But the Hawks are 1.5 games out of the 6th seed. 2 games out of the 4th seed. So if they make a run, we have a very brutal stretch coming up where we play the Lakers, the Clippers, the Nuggets, and the Suns. So that might, be kind of rough. But if we can win our next 3 games, we'll be 21-20 going into that stretch. I can really see the Hawks pushing for that 6th seed and guaranteeing the playoff spot.
yeah, I think we will see. I think our top half of this conference should look pretty similar.
Yeah, I would say so. So who do you have at 5?
A couple of teams slightly switched. So at 5th, I have the Celtics.
Ooh, okay.
Who do you have at 5th?
I have Miami. So why do you have the Celtics? Yeah.
Yeah, so I have Miami right above the Celtics at 4.
I have Boston right above Miami.
And then here at 3, this is when I don't have bias. I have the Milwaukee Bucks under the.
I do as well. Yeah.
Then I have the Sixers. And then at number 1, I have the Nets.
I have the same. So I think we only have Boston and Miami switched for the top 5.
Yeah.
So I think I have Miami at 5 primarily because I don't know. They had like bubble magic last year. That's not really like.
That's true. Yeah.
Duncan Robinson's not been the best. Hero's been inconsistent. Butler has been out injured for a while. He's been back and he's been good. So it might propel Miami to the 4th seed, as you were saying. But I think Boston's.
Boston's been.
They've been
lately. Their away game record is quite bad, while they do well at home. So. We will see with that, but I don't think that'll make that because they'll end up playing each other in the playoffs anyway.
Yeah.
Even if they're switched, right? So.
Yeah, and then with the Bucks, I mean, obviously Giannis is there, but I feel they have not. Budenholzer has not made too many adjustments to a system that is consistently proven to not work in the playoffs, and I think now that's sort of translating to the regular season to an extent. And again, I think they're very reliant. I mean, Bucks have always had good role players, but this year I think especially they're reliant on Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday. Like when Holiday was out, they really like suffered as a result. So I think the Bucks again, and then with the way the Sixers and the Nets are playing, I don't see the Bucks.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't think the Bucks have realized or just seen how much better the Nets and the Sixers have come so quickly.
Yeah.
While the Bucks have stayed relatively the same. So.
Yeah. And then I think with the Sixers, I mean Embiid's injury, thankfully it's not too big. That was very scary to watch. But if he's back within a week or two, even without Embiid, with Simmons, Green, Tybal, Seth Curry, Shake Milton, they have a solid and a well-coached team under Doc Rivers. I think Embiid's obviously made them what they are. He's a front runner for the MVP.
Like the MVP level.
Yeah, I think, look, it was just a new coach and that needed to unlock what he can truly do on a basketball floor. I think for Embiid, it was more the mentality than it was the skill. And I think Rivers has really unlocked that like second level for Embiid that's propelled him to being the front runner for the MVP. But then the Nets are just
Yeah, I mean, let's take a minute and talk about the Brooklyn Nets. So, what, five former All-Stars right now?
Yeah.
And with the potential of getting Andre Drummond. Okay, so here's my thing. I want to say something about the Brooklyn Nets. I think if the Brooklyn Nets do not win the championship this year, and like especially if Anthony Davis isn't there, especially if they're not playing LeBron and Anthony Davis, I cannot call any of the players on the Brooklyn Nets a top 20 player of all time.
Really?
Even Kevin Durant. Right now, we had our video, right?
Yeah.
Which please watch.
Yeah. I'll link it in the description. If I remember, I'll link it in the description.
In which I have Kevin Durant in the top 15, maybe like 11th, and Raghav has him around 15th. Yeah. And so I think it will tarnish his career really bad if he has this supporting cast and still manages to fumble.
That is very true. I said it in my Harden reaction video, the trade. If they don't win 2 rings in the next 3 years, this trade will go down as one of the worst trades because they've tanked their future. But with we don't have to look at the future right now. We can look at the way they're playing, and it's so fun to watch the Brooklyn Nets. I think the Nets, they've really unlocked their role players as well. Like they've found some good guys, and they've made some smart moves. Blake Griffin hasn't played yet, but I'm talking about guys like Joe Harris, which there was a very smart move to retain him. But I would say a top 5 shooter in the league.
Yeah,
and it's not just shooting for him. He's the underrated playmaker, and he can get the ball to the basket. I really like Bruce Brown. I think he's just a play hard glue guy type of guy who'll make his open threes, play hard defense, which is exactly what the Nets need around Kyrie, Harden, and Durant. But if we also look at the stars, Kyrie has just been on another level recently, dude. Insane. Against Boston, that 40-point performance was just mesmerizing to watch. Harden has been the most efficient I think he's ever been. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't like when they made that trade. I'm like, is he really, really this good? He's really, really this good. He's so good. And then,
I mean, what are you gonna do when you're playing a team where 3 of the players can just go and give you 50 any night?
Exactly. It's crazy. Right. And then I was talking to my dad about this the other day. I had the Lakers as the favorites to win the ring this year. It's changed for me. I think it's Brooklyn's championship to lose. Because look, if they come up against a full-strength Lakers team, which we'll talk about later on with like Davis's injury, Davis will obviously match up with KD, and that's the best possible matchup I think you can have on KD, maybe Giannis. LeBron, I don't think he can keep up with either Kyrie or Harden, so he's going to have to guard Griffin or like Joe Harris. And again, Joe Harris will make him run around the court. I mean, LeBron, if he wants, can guard Harden. I feel he cannot guard Kyrie. Kyrie is just too shifty for him. So then you're gonna have Dennis Schroeder. You're gonna have Dennis Schroeder guarding Kyrie Irving in the NBA Finals. What? I don't think that's feasible. And then at any given time, the Nets will have two again, arguably top 25 players in NBA history, while the Lakers will only have 1. And Davis isn't even in that conversation yet.
Yeah.
So, and you have an aging LeBron, but it doesn't look like he's aging, obviously. But still,
LeBron James.
It's LeBron James, but still, it's just Brooklyn's championship to lose.
Yeah. I think we can elaborate on that further in our playoffs video. Yeah. Let's move on to the teams that they'd be playing against in the final.
So play-in tournament. Yeah, play-in tournament for the West. Who do you have?
So for me, while in the East, it was a much harder decision in choosing who the lower seed teams will be. For me, for the West, it was harder choosing who the higher seed teams will be. I think right now in the play-in tournament, there will be The Mavericks will be playing against the San Antonio Spurs. No, not the Grizzlies at 10.
Okay.
And then the Warriors will be playing against the Spurs.
Who's the 8th and 9th seed in that?
I think the Warriors are going to be the 8th seed and the Spurs are going to drop to the 9th seed.
Okay. You want to explain a bit of that before I get into mine?
I mean Steph Curry's been playing really well, and in his latest game where they were down incredibly, you could see his frustration, but you can see him trying to will his team, and I think eventually that's gonna work when you're around someone like a Steph Curry with all the experience he has. I think he pushes you to be better, and I think they're gonna do better than the 9 seed, get higher than they are right now. And I think the Spurs are going to drop. I just don't think they are a better team than the Mavericks or the Warriors right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Grizzlies, they've been dealing with lots of injuries. I know Jaren Jackson's going to be soon, but I don't know whether that's going to impact them that much.
Yeah.
Especially like after injury, see how he plays. So I think they'll still make the 10th seed because I think they are currently better than the rest of teams in the West. But I think it's between the Grizzlies and the Pelicans for that seed, but I think the Grizzlies have it, and then they'll be playing against the Mavericks, who I think Luka will get them 1 seed higher than they are right now.
Interesting. So again, I also had that battle for the 10th seed between the Grizzlies and the Pelicans, and I also gave it to the Grizzlies. And then in the 7th seed, I actually have the Trailblazers. I think Lillard will definitely propel them up the rankings, and I know they've had massive injury problems, and I don't think Nurkic is going to come back until playoff time, and McCollum's is out for a while too, but I think Lillard is Lillard. Can't say much more than that. And Melo's been playing really well recently, as has Gary Trent's been stepping it up. They have other role players who've been playing above their pay grade, who will, I think, will them into the 7th seed against the Grizzlies. So it'll be like last year's play-in tournament between Portland and Memphis. And then we have the Spurs as the 8th seed for me, and then the Warriors as the 9th seed for me. I think, yeah, obviously Steph is going to will them into the play-in tournament, but their role players are just so weak. And it's one of the weakest rosters that the Warriors have had in the last 5 years. I think it obviously is the weakest. So with Draymond again aging and stuff, but I definitely think they'll make the play-in tournament. And I'll just continue. I have this is the only upset I have in the play-in tournament. I have the Golden State Warriors beating the Spurs, because come play-in time, I think it's defense versus star power. And in this situation where it's only 2 games, I think Stephen Curry can just have the 2 games of his life. Even though the Spurs are very well equipped to stop him with DeJounte Murray, Derek White, some of the best defensive point guards in the league. But Steph Curry is Steph Curry, and he will them to those 2 games into the 8th seed. And then
I have the Warriors at the 8th seed as well, but I have them seeding higher than the Spurs at the regular seed. So.
And then who do you have in the 7th seed? Mavericks?
Mavericks at the 7th seed.
Okay. I have Portland beating Memphis, so being the 7th seed. Yeah. Okay, so I'll continue with the 6th. Yeah. I actually have Dallas as the 6th seed. I think Luka's gonna I think they're gonna figure it out. Last year they were amazing, and this year I think they'll figure it out by the end of the year. So that's why I have Dallas being the 6th seed.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I just think the teams I have above them are all better than them right now.
Yeah.
So at 6 I have the Denver Nuggets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the 6th seed because they have been underperforming-ish, kind of. There was bubble Jamal Murray. It was like different. Yeah. He's not playing bubble level, but he's not bad. Jokic is playing at MVP.
Jokic is, I think, number 2 in the MVP race.
Yeah, I think Jokic is incredible. But yeah, I have them at the 6th seed, but with the potential to beat a higher seed in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they're definitely an upset contender. But for me, I have them as the 5th seed. Again, I don't think they drop all the way to 6, or they are in 6th right now.
They're on- Right.
Yeah, I think that they'll be able to figure it out and again move up with the way Jokic is playing.
Yeah.
And Michael Porter Jr. is figuring out. If they figure out their defense, I think they'll definitely. This is just a tangent about the Nuggets, but I really like. I think Facundo Campazzo. I don't know if that's how you pronounce.
Oh yeah, the flashy pass guy. The
Yeah,
flashy-
flashy passer, fast guy. He's like a JJ Barea type guy, and I'm really
Yeah.
enjoying him. But yeah, that's just a tangent about the Nuggets. So, who do you have as the 5th seed? I'm so confused right now.
Fifth seed, I have Damian Lillard.
Oh my God, really? All the way?
Seed.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
I think they can. I think some of their injuries will be back before the end of the season.
Yeah, I think like Zach Collins, and I think
A final push.
yeah,
For the 5th seed, but I guess maybe the Nuggets can be higher than them, and yeah, we'll see. But I have Damian Lillard. I have Damian Lillard
he's
getting
been
up
on
there.
an electrifying run and willing them to the 5th seed.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible. We've seen what he can do. So I think we have the same top 4 then, not ranking wise, but
Wait, I don't think you have the same rankings like order as me.
we'll see. We'll see. Who do you have it for?
At 4, who do you have it for? Because I think
I have the Suns.
yeah, that'd be normal.
Yeah.
I have LeBron James at 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I think I see that.
without Anthony Davis.
Yeah, exactly. Because Davis is, I think the timeline is increased on his injury.
Exactly. I think he'll be back like just before the playoffs.
Yeah,
or
and
maybe-
I think that's a smart decision on the Lakers' part. He's their franchise centerpiece after he's arguably more valuable than LeBron given his age. And they need to, Achilles again can be killer.
Exactly. And LeBron, I saw something was saying LeBron he's not gonna rest any other game for the rest of the year. I think that's not true.
Calling cap.
Yes, I am calling cap because I think he will rest games because it's LeBron James. That's what he does, right? And come playoff time, he's still LeBron James, and he might still have Anthony Davis. It doesn't matter what seed he really is in, other than pride, right?
Yeah.
If 4 seed, 1 seed, 8 seed, LeBron James, Anthony Davis can make it to the final.
Exactly. I completely agree with that. And then I have the Suns at 4. I mean, they're at 2 right now, which is quite.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be good. I didn't know they were going to be this good.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming into the season, I saw them as a 4th seed, but again, I think Chris Paul. They've been all been playing great. I think they're a bit weak. Aiden isn't the best defender. Again, Booker isn't either. They're like serviceable defenders. And the 3 teams I have above, I think we obviously have the same top 2 then. But
I think we do. Yeah, we do. Maybe
like,
in a
in
different
terms of
order.
teams, not
Yeah.
but
Maybe in a different order, but
we have the
at
Suns at 3.
and number 3 I have the Suns.
I have the Lakers. So I think LeBron like maintains where they are.
Okay.
Because it's not like, again, the Lakers, why I had them as the favorites to win last before the season started was because they improved on a championship team, which is so rare. They
Yeah.
got Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, and who else? Oh my God, Gasol. Gasol's injured. That's also been. I think if the Lakers get Drummond, I think that will be big for them.
Oh, if the Lakers get Drummond, I'm gonna have to change my rankings.
Yeah, if the Lakers get Drummond, we have to consider that. Even if I thought they're trying to get JaVale McGee, they just need another backup center because, again, with Gasol out for a bit, same with Davis, they're going to need another big man in there. But yeah, if the Lakers get Drummond, that will be very interesting.
That's a game changer.
Yeah.
That's a game.
Yeah. Okay,
For
2.
2, I have Team Coronavirus. I have the Utah Jazz at
Okay.
number 2.
Okay.
And I think they're incredible. They have 3 All-Stars this year since they made Mike Conley an All-Star. I don't know how I feel about that. My guy, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. But he deserved it because Shea is going to get like 7 in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
So, they're playing great. I've always thought they were a very well-built team.
Yeah.
Great scorer in Mitchell, and then great defenders around him, nice shooters as well, with Ingles and all.
Yeah.
So I think this team it's a great team. I don't think they can beat a LeBron James, Anthony Davis. I don't think they can beat a LeBron James and Drummond.
Yeah.
But regular season wise, I see them pushing to the 2 seed. And I wouldn't mind seeing people putting them at the 1 seed as they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're 1 seed right now, and that's where I have them. I'll talk a bit about them later, for my opinion, because I made a whole video about them, and I'm a big fan of their team. But I have the Clippers at 2. They look hungry this year. I can't not see a Brooklyn Clippers finals with the Clippers beating the Lakers in a 7-game series in the Western Conference Finals. Well, all NBA fans wanted since last year. Kawhi and Paul George against LeBron and Anthony Davis. Yeah. Hopefully the NBA gods give it to us. But the Clippers are just, again, they also really improved on a really good team, I feel. They got Batum in there. Batum's been decent. Who else? They've made a really other. It was another nice
addition. They lost Harrell.
They lost Harrell, yeah. But I like Luke Kennard. He hasn't been playing as much, but I think Terrence Mann is a guy who they've been playing recently. And again, I just think Kawhi and Paul George. Paul George is hungry. You can definitely tell he's hungry.
Paul George and all that. I think I was going to talk about this when I got to my number 1 seed.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think Paul George is hungry. I think, all the pandemic playoffs stuff like that. I think that angered him off. Yeah. And I think he's coming back. I actually have a Paul George shirt on right now. I know it's a Thunder shirt. I got it 2 weeks before he traded. But,
oh no!
But I think Paul George is gonna be the X factor right here. We all know Kawhi Leonard's incredible and he's incredibly consistent. He's a robot. He's gonna do what Kawhi Leonard will do. Yeah. But it's that Paul George who's a little more unpredictable, who lends that, both the fun factor and the should I worry factor to the team.
Yeah. If he plays the way he's been playing in the regular season, then the league has to watch out.
The league has to watch out. Yeah. LeBron has to watch out.
Yeah, specifically LeBron. Yeah, LeBron is the league. So, but I have Utah at 1. They've completely revolutionized the team. They have a relatively the same core, but they made one really good addition in Derek Favors, because now he's a starting center, in my opinion, who's very comfortable playing that bench role for the Jazz. I think the Jazz have 8 starters on their roster because of. So look, they have Conley, Mitchell, Ingles, Gobert, and Bogdanovich. Then off the bench, they have Clarkson, who I think is going to win 6th Man of the Year. He's been insane for them. I really like the way he plays. He's like a Lou Will sort of guy, but more athletic, like prime Lou Will sort of. And then they have Royce O'Neal, who's a jack of all trades, and then Favors. That's 8 starters on one roster. And I really think they're not. People have always been saying they're 2014-15 Hawks. I loved that team. They were my heart and soul. I loved those guys. I still do. Huh?
Team basketball.
Huh?
The Game of Zones episode.
Yeah, dude. But I don't know. They're not like the 2014-15 Hawks, because I think Donovan Mitchell is better than any of the guys we had on that roster, and we did not have a guy who could give you 40 on one night on that roster, because Paul Millsap cannot give you 40 points in one night. He was our best player.
Yeah. Wasn't Nolan All-Star? How many All-Stars do you have that season?
We had 4.
4?
Okay. Korver, Millsap, and Horford. And then all 5 starters, including DeMar Carroll, who was our starting small forward, they all won Player of the Week at least once. So because we went on a 17-game win streak that year.
Very 2015 Hawks video.
Why they should have won a ring.
I just had one question. Anyway, I completely agree. The Jazz, and they do kind of give me vibes of the old Hawks, but I think the excellent thing again, I think they're better, because of Donovan Mitchell
and Rudy Gobert being Defensive Player of the Year. I think he deserves to win it. I don't think Ben Simmons deserves to win it. Gobert is so good defensively. The Jazz can play such aggressive perimeter defense solely because they know Gobert.
No one wants to go in the paint.
You
Yeah.
can't. You literally can't. He's literally the Stifle Tower, because you cannot get past the dude. It's crazy how good he is in the paint defensively. Yeah.
So I think we have our list.
Yeah. Do you want to quickly, before our playoff prediction episode, as a quick teaser? I think we both had similar, but who do you think makes the finals?
Well, recently we were just talking about how the Jazz have eight quality starters.
Yeah.
I know another team with almost 8 players that I would want on any team. 3 of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
2 of the best players in the league. Maybe another one of the best centers in the league.
Yeah.
And then Spencer Dinwiddie and Joe Ingles as well.
Harris.
Joe Harris, my bad. Joe Harris.
Bruce Brown.
Bruce Brown.
Landry Shamet.
Bro, that team is nuts.
Yeah.
That team might be the best team in NBA. Might be.
Personnel wise.
Like personnel wise, on paper.
I agree. It's the most. It's the most well constructed roster. When the trade happened, it didn't look like it. But with the way they've been playing recently, after they figured it out defensively, dude, they're crazy good. Yeah. So
during the James Harden trade, I was like, bro, there's no way they keep Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah.
And then they did. And then like, of course, LeVert and Jared Allen are amazing pieces, but you need to give those pieces when you're getting James Harden, right? So
I think Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Harden are all in the top 10 for MVP right now, which is just crazy to think about. So
they're all in the top 10 players in the league, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But like just this year too. This year. Yeah. So I think that's all we have for you guys today. So tune into our playoffs episode. Suyash, I hope you enjoyed being on yet another video on this channel.
Thank you so much for having me again.
For sure. So we'll see you guys on our playoff predictions episode. That won't be out until relatively when we finally know what teams are gonna be the play-in tournament and everything. But yeah, I'll catch you guys on my next episode here on the NBA. Delete that was. Thank you.